Welcome to Wellness Week Live. I am DJ Anthony. No, seriously, I'm a DJ. I'm not kidding. And this is our resident PhD in biochem, Magnus. What's up, everybody? Happy holidays.
How's it going, guys?
So today we're going to talk about three things. I do three like this. Some people go like this, but I go like that. Anyways, we're going to talk about number one, because it is kind of the season of not only giving but receiving. So gratefulness, fats, because fats are not our enemy, and the best way to help give yourself the best odds of getting cancer and heart disease. I know that sounds crazy. Okay, anyways, so before I forget any of that stuff, Magnus, you are our fitness guru, and just if you can talk a little bit about, you have a holiday recovery challenge going on with your fitness service. So take it away, Magnus. Shamelessly plug. Go ahead.
Plug. So we haven't officially kind of pointed that out, but I work as a nutrition coach, and a lot of people, well, what does a nutrition coach do? Well, we help a lot of people on several aspects of life and health. So diet is just a single part of what we're doing. We're looking at sleep, hormone health, stress levels, so on and so forth. So since it's also the season now when a lot of people like, I'm gonna do my New Year's resolution, and for the 20th time in the row, or the time in the row, it's gonna be, I'm gonna improve my health. So this year I want to help as many people as possible of actually taking it to the next level, and not just like starting out being motivated and then the motivation kind of runs out after a couple of weeks and you back to your kind of normal habits. I want to change people's habits, and I want them to enjoy it and have fun. We're not talking about any like super restrictive diets. We're still going to have your whatever your favorite thing is, your non-negotiable, still going to be there, and we're going to work on something. So what I'm doing right now, it's going to be a 12-week program. So it's going to be 3 months, and you will, what you get for that, we basically have a weekly check-in where I go through how the week went, what the plans are for the upcoming week, if we need any changes, big wins, things like that. And then we'll, of course, do a lifestyle analysis to start out with, see where you're currently at, what are the big factors we can change, what are the small things that we can get a quick big win for. So those are the things, and then continuously we will have a bi-weekly phone call when I basically have a Zoom meeting or video conference where we talk about things, see how things are going, and kind of structure and motivation, and of course one of the most important things, accountability. That you actually have accountability partner, which is going to be me, that see that you're actually are moving forward and we're going there. And of course, I mean, like if things changes throughout the time period that you need, like you have an upcoming event that you need to go to, we will tweak things so you feel it's very individualized for you. So right. It fits you perfectly. It's not a cookie cutter program.
Right. And accountability is important. I mean, that's kind of, I think, the cornerstone of it, having someone to be accountable to. So, by the way, so where can they reach out to you or email you or text you or call you to get more information?
Of course, we have the live logo. I had my email is like here, but I will send, like, I will email. I will put out my Facebook group that you can join in. You can DM me or write comments.
Okay, through that. And you'll link it in the show here.
I will do the links on both on our Facebook pages and on the YouTube channel, so everybody can get a hold of me. And just hear me out, see like if it's a good fit or not, because I think that's important too when you like trying to look for a mentor or a coach or anything like that that you click, like that you can feel good about the person.
And you're not a pushy salesman, so people can call you. I can vouch for this. You'll let them know what you do and don't do, and then the ball's in their court. That's it.
Yes, 400%. Like that's. I'm like I said, my motivation with this is to help as many people as possible and feel that they can like really kickstart it and actually build habits that they could that's sustainable for the rest of their life, basically.
For sure. For sure. Awesome.
Well,
Okay, so with that, and again, so I appreciate that, and you'll link all that stuff in there. So we were talking about gratefulness or mindfulness in this season. So I wanted to do. I have 5, you have 5. So
yes,
you'll go, I go, you go, I go. We'll trade. I have a feeling we're gonna have some of the similar ones because some of it's obvious. But I'll start off first. I'll say one, then you say, then I. Okay, so number 1, I would say I'm grateful. And I think we should always be grateful every single day. Actually, I think it helps us to become a happier person and healthier when we're mindful of what we do have. Not, oh, I didn't get the yacht. I don't have the Ferrari. I don't have that 19th pair of shoes. My life is horrible. Anyway, so my first thing is I'm grateful for relationships, whether they be family, friends, meeting you, Magnus. I'm grateful for relationships. That's actually at the top of the heat is relationships. I think it's even more important than health because you could be healthy, but if you have no one in your life, that's like, so your relationships are so powerful. And ironically, they contribute to good health if you have good relationships. Okay, so what's your number 1?
That is going to be on my list, but we can talk about that later or skip by it. But I will mention it. But one, I'm just happy to be alive. Like my life at this point in time, just like it's crazy. I mean, I like getting older, how cool that is also if you just absorb it the right way. I mean, I like materialistic stuff, things like that, they're way less important than they were when you were younger. Like you said, like relationships, my health, things like that, my wife, my family, things like that. Like just being alive at this point in time of history too, it's just bonkers.
Yeah, right. It seems like
what the heck that we get to see. It's just wild.
There's an old Chinese proverb that says, "May you live in interesting times." And boy, I think we're all in. Yes. But yeah, let me say this. I got a funny story, not funny, but interesting, talking about how powerful relationships are and how I think they're more important than actually your health. Health would be number 2 for me, which is important, of course. But so many years ago, I used to volunteer at a local hospital just because I like to do those things. And my job was to discharge and people or admit them. I would be the guy who pushed the wheelchair, basically. And this is a couple of years ago. This is not like as a child. So people would be like, dude, are you the DJ? Like, what are you doing here? Anyway, so I'm like, yeah, I'm here. Shut up. Just listen to me. So I push him. Anyway, so one day I had a really weird thing where I had to discharge this woman and she was leaving the hospital. And my job was to, just wheel them out to the front door of the hospital, and then whoever would pick them up, family, friends, Uber, taxi, whatever. So I'm, talking to her as we're walking down the hallways, and I said, "Oh, okay, who should I be looking for when I wheel you outside?" She's like, "Oh, my family. I can't wait. My daughter and the kids and the grandkids." And this lady had cancer, by the way. So for all practical purposes, she was being discharged really to just to kind of spend the last few, I guess, days or months or whatever time of her life. She was being discharged, but it was, bad prognosis, but she was being discharged. They did a procedure or whatever it is they were going to do for her. And so she was leaving the hospital. Anyways, but you would never know it because she was so happy to see her family, but the prognosis was bleak, but you wouldn't know it. Very, very happy because her family. Okay. So I discharged her. Have a good day. Oh my God. Thank you, Anthony. Da, da, da. An hour later, I discharged this gentleman, younger guy, had a heart procedure done, but nothing terminal. They cured him. He's good. We're talking and I'm like, hey, so who should I be looking for when I wheel you out of the hospital? He's like, nobody. He's like, I don't have anyone. He's like, I'm going to really miss this place. I'm like, excuse me? He's like, yeah, I'm going to miss the hospital. I'm like, oh. He's like, yeah, the doctors and the nurses and, I don't have anyone at home. He's like, I'm just, going to take a taxi home and that's it. I was like, whoa. And it hit me. I was like, wow, there's something worse than death. And that is loneliness.
Yeah.
This woman had cancer and, it was a wrap for her, but you would never know it. You thought that she hit the lottery. The guy I'm wheeling out, nothing terminal, going home, he's cured. You would think he had the cancer because he was, he had no one. And he's like, yeah, I'm just waiting for a taxi.
But he was basically dying on the inside.
Right. Because he had no relationships. he had no one waiting for him.
Yeah.
And I was front and center to see all this. And I was just like, whoa, like he said he missed the hospital. Doctors don't miss the hospital. I mean, I was like, whoa, that's pretty bad, you know? And it was very sad. And it really kind of drove the point home to me that point. That's what I learned. The biggest lesson I took away from my year volunteering at this local hospital was like, man, there's something worse than death. And that is loneliness.
Yeah.
If you don't have anyone, like even just friends or whatever, and for whatever reason that may be, it's devastating, you know?
Yeah.
And so after that moment, I said, no, there's something more important than health. Relationships, then health. Ironically, both are intertwined. But anyways, so a funny story, meaning
can I add something there?
Yes.
I think that like now with the situation we're in, and also with social media and anything like that, we're basically distancing ourselves more and more. And this is something that I noticed a little bit, like there's a difference between Sweden and the States for sure. Here, at least you can start a conversation with someone like a stranger and you're not looked upon like a complete lunatic. In Sweden, that is pretty much like, why are you talking to me? Are you crazy?
New York is like that.
Yeah. So, but what I want to say is that if you are one of these persons that are, if you're listening and you feel lonely, try to go out and socialize. It doesn't like I know that people are introvert, but trying to get out, like maybe like you did, go and help other like nonprofit programs or anything like that.
Or just go to your local Starbucks and just a small conversation with the cashier. Every little bit counts. It can make and break your day. You know, we take for granted those small micro interactions, you know. Everyone's like, well, I need a best friend. Well, that'd be nice, but even if you just talk to the cashier for 2 seconds, every little bit helps. You need that human connection, you know. Do it
again. We're not kids anymore. Like back in the days, it was like, oh, you'd run into someone, a kid on the street that looks about your age, and it's like, hey, do you like orange soda? Oh, I love orange soda. Oh, so do I. Oh, now we're best friends, you know. And relationships are not built the same way when you grow up. So, but that's why I always like if you feel uncomfortable with being out and about, like you have to become like comfortable with being uncomfortable. It's something that we can improve upon, and it's the same thing with like personal relationships or like a charm or things like that. You can train a lot of those things, you know. Like again, go to an improv class or something like that if you have a chance, and develop, because you learn a lot of tricks. So, and one of the most important things is that people love to talk themselves. Both you and I love to talk, but actually listening to people,
that's harder too.
But that's one of the best things of actually like connecting with people and say, oh, he was a great guy. What did you learn about him? Oh, basically nothing, but like he allowed me to talk about myself.
Right. Yeah, well, and it's hard with COVID because everyone's afraid, not everybody, but a lot of people are afraid to even go out, which makes mental health, aka mind health, even harder. And, you know, anyways, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole because I know we only have a half hour. So what was the other thing that you were grateful for? We're at number 2 or 3. Go ahead.
Oh, so we basically, I would say that's relationship, friends and family. I have so many, I mean, like, again, like I have this, and a lot of my friends are still living in Sweden, right? And so it goes for my family, my mom and my sister, my uncle, and so on. But and also like the technology, that's what I'm saying. Like I love like living today because I can just call them up. It basically costs nothing, and I can interact with them. I can like video like calls and all that things, and I'm still kind of on the other side of the world, and I still feel connected to them. You know,
technology would be something you're grateful for.
Yeah. That's such a.
I didn't think of that one.
Yeah, that's such a pleasure to be able to connect with them so easy.
Right. Yeah. For me, it would also be my business. I'm very lucky, or whatever you want to call it, that I'm able to do something I love in my entertainment business. Oftentimes I can't believe it. I'm like, only in America, baby. So that's the other thing I'm grateful for is that I'm able to make a living doing what I like to do.
And that comes into another thing that like the third thing that I'm grateful for. That's actually like what I'm doing is like helping people.
Right.
I actually, and it's the same thing with hopefully this, like our channel here too, is like we are helping people like to a better life, and also like having an understanding that whatever problem you probably have, you're not alone.
Right.
There's people, and there's help. I mean, and I know, and this is someone that's been talking to people that diets, like trying to lose body fat, all those things, live a healthier life. So many people are so frustrated and connect diet and nutrition with failure, because that's what they're constantly been going through, and
Right.
they just feel like they're getting deeper and deeper into like the rabbit hole and not being able to get out.
Right.
And then I step in and helping hand, because I'm not doing the work. The clients are. I'm just there to navigate them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you see when they change their whole life for the better. It's such an amazing feeling, both for the client and for me as their coach.
Yeah. So job would be yours. So you feel the same way about your job or your career? Yeah. I mean, I guess my other thing would be that I'm able to. This might sound kind of silly, but I'm grateful for, number one, living in not only America, but being able to live in a relatively safe town that I live in. It never goes lost on me. I'm like, wow, I'm very grateful to live in a place where I don't have to worry about violence or civil war, or I think all of us take that for granted. So I'm grateful for where I live. And I'm not living in some 90-room mansion, but I'm grateful for that.
Would you need that anyway?
Excuse me?
Do you need 90 rooms, even if you had the money?
I don't, but I'm just saying. You're right.
I'm the same way. I'm
don't get me wrong. Hey, listen, I've lived in bigger, more palatial places than I live now. That's for sure. I mean, all I'm saying is, I mean, like, I'm grateful for whatever, even if I lived in a 90-room whatever, you know what I mean? But I mean, I'm grateful for what I have, dude. If I was living in a tent, okay, I'd be grateful for that too, because I would look at it like, hey, I don't have the rain hitting me in the head, like, that's me. But anyways.
But I'm the exact same way. I'm like, and that's something that I'm like, I would probably say that I'm grateful for too. Like, I'm more grateful for the things that I do have and then I don't have, which I think, like, that's basically what you were saying too. It's like looking at the opportunities that you have instead of the opportunities that you don't have, like having that mindset. I mean, I was different. Like, when I was younger, I was way more, like, oh, why is not this happening? Why is not that? Why don't I have this? Why don't I have that? Right. Like, nowadays it's like, whoa, like, what do I have? Which, like, the basics, like a roof over my head, I get to eat, I'm fairly healthy, relationship. So like that would probably be one of the things that I'm grateful for.
What's another thing that you were grateful for then on your list?
So this might be weird, but like, I'm super grateful to have dogs in my life. Both you and I are dog persons.
We're gonna do a show on that next week, I think.
Yes, I love to. Like, I truly love dogs. It's just they can, you can learn so much from them, and like that, you're gone for 30 seconds and you come back and they're like,
they act like you were gone for 9 years,
because they're like, oh, you're back, we love you. Like, the unconditional love, and just the way they are, like, they're so emotionally connected. Like, I won't say all dogs, but most dogs are, and like they can read you straight away. I don't know how they do it. That, like, I would love to know the science behind it, because that's something that, like, even without the science, we can learn so many things from dogs.
If you don't have it, we got to talk about that next week, because we got to do a whole show just how important for your health a pet. If it's not a dog, a cat, a fish, a turtle, a pet rock, whatever, we all need a pet in our life. And I don't even want to call them pets; they're family. But now I want to respect your time too, because we just gobbled up that on the first topic. If there's something else, otherwise I'm going to move on to fats.
Let's go.
Fats. Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't mind staying an extra minute or two, but if you got to go,
we continue. Yeah, we'll keep it. We'll keep on going. We have the three things that we wanted to go through.
Okay.
So let's talk about fats.
Okay. So look, and I know you're the expert here. So it makes me. No, I was going to say real quick. I'm going to set you up for the alley oop, and then you just take it from there, my man. I'm going to be your quarterback. Hand you the ball. You go through the gap. You know, our friend Jay
I
said you were his
one-handed it like Odell Beckham Jr.
yeah, our friend Jay said you were his favorite running back. I was like, oh, really? Okay, wow, that's a compliment.
He's one of my favorite teammates. We played
He's
for
had
a single year,
many
but
running backs in his life.
he's a great guy. I
Yeah,
love
good
him.
arm.
I'd love to see like now like with him and his family and things like that. He's such a good guy.
Yeah, when you come to the East Coast, you got to hit us up.
Yes, 100%. We talked about that. We also talked about going back to Sweden together.
Oh, you and him, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, well, that's between you and him. But yeah, if you ever come, when you do come to the East Coast,
Yeah, no, you should come to
I'll
Sweden
at your
too,
boy.
man.
I got you, man. I got plenty of room here for you. Okay, bring the dogs. My dog.
Of course.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so but no, so I'm gonna alley oop you here. So I see people do this, and I'm guilty of this too in the past. It's like no fat, low fat, bad, fat, 1%, no fat, and it's like. I used to be that person. Guess what, folks? You need fat, good, low fat, bad. Don't eat foods that have low fat, bad, no fat, bad. Stop that. Stop. Okay, fat's good. Now, particular type of fat. You got your trans fat, your monounsaturated fat, your polyunsaturated fat. Anyways, we're going to talk about that. Okay, so fats. Can you talk a little bit about our good fats, the monosaturated and polyunsaturated? Take it away, Magnus.
Yeah, so basically, from a nutrition standpoint, we have three sorts of fats. So it's going to be we have saturated fats. Those are usually a little bit more energetic. Then we have the unsaturated fats, and then the polyunsaturated fats. What does that mean? So basically, you basically have you can see it as a head, and then you have like three legs sticking out of it, and on a saturated fat, it's going to be very strict and like
you're talking about the molecule.
Yeah, they're very straight as molecules, so they pack fairly easy next to one another. The other ones are more kind of like they're more branched, so they stick out. They have like more flexibility to them. You can't pack them as densely, which is good because it's harder for them to clog up our arteries and things like that. That doesn't mean that we don't need saturated fats. Saturated fats are one of the most important things, especially when it comes to hormone health. It's a building block for several of our hormones.
What would be some foods that have saturated fats that we could eat?
Saturated fats, you usually see that in meats, and you see that in dairy, and you see that in
I'm sorry, I mean mono unsaturated fats, the good fats.
Unsaturated,
Sorry.
Okay, so look, that's more. That would say that is more like when you're looking at vegetable fats, things like that, like avocados,
right?
All
Fish,
those things,
salmon,
yeah,
nuts, seeds,
yeah,
peanut butter.
Yeah, I mean, we should also throw in the omega fats too. That's a subdivision of fats too that are important. The problem is that there's several different type of omega fats. So we're usually talking about omega 3s. That's what you get from fish, and you see that in seeds and things like that. We're eating way too little of those.
Oh yeah, we're eating the trans fats and the hydrogenated oils.
And
also bad.
And also the omega 6 oils. You see that a lot.
Is bad, right?
Yeah, because you still need them, but at a lower intake than what we're doing now, because they are usually causing inflammation in our bodies. So That's why you want to up the omega 3s to kind of and reduce the omega 6, so you have a good relationship with them in between.
Ratio. Read your packaging labels, folks.
Yeah. And we can talk. We should basically have a show about the omega 6 fats someday too, that we can talk about, and what we need, where we can find them, how much we should eat of them, and things like that. So that could be one of our topics. Anyhow, the problem that you see a lot today is that we're getting a lot of bad processed fats. You see the trans fats, and you see a lot of the hydrogenated vegetable oils. So all these are basically created or manipulated,
man-made.
Yeah, in chemical plants. And if you haven't seen them, you like go and look for a video online about like hydrogenated fats, how they're made.
Right. Let me read the back of your labels. I mean, I would just say this in short. If you're not sure what has hydrogenated and what has trans and what has mono and poly, it's simple. I think you know what God made versus man made. If you have an apple in your hand, or a banana in your hand, or grapes in your hand, or a watermelon in your hand, or nuts in your hand, that's God made. Something that's in a package or something that was wrapped in plastic, that's man made. It's probably garbage.
Yeah.
But that's simple. That's it. But
one thing that you can also look at, it's a difference. Like it's different from ingredients to ingredients. Like if you make for instance, just look at chocolate chip cookies, for instance. If you make them yourself, you can actually buy better flour. You can use real butter instead of using these like vegetable oils, margarine, things like that. Those things, stay away from those oils. They are not
better off having real butter versus some crap in a spray.
Yeah.
By the way,
of course. Yeah.
I was gonna say, other thing is the other reason why the good fats are good is fats. They give us sustenance. They sustain us.
Yes.
So you don't want, because when you go low fat, you wind up eating more, packing in more calories, and then that turns to fat. So actually, eating fat will help you stay satiated, and you won't want to eat more, and you'll be full longer. You'll eat less, and you'll be healthier. So it's kind of, there's an irony to it, and it's almost counterintuitive, but you need fat. So again, if you're eating salmon, or if you're eating even just whole milk, when you go low fat milk, then you're going to be consuming more stuff. And then you're going to have a weight problem, and then you're going to have visceral fat problem. So the irony is, the fat is not our enemy. Trans fat is garbage fat from man-made stuff. Anyways, sorry, Magnus, go ahead.
No, you're good. This is an important topic. So I mean, and I know that you're like, this is an important thing for you to talk to about too. So I'm also getting fired up. The thing is, what we need to look at, like, and this goes back to a lot of my clients. I usually keep the fat intake fairly high, because that is more important than the carbohydrates. That's why you have essential fats and essential amino acids, because we can't create them ourselves. We need them through our food. And again, it comes back to just pure health, like joint health, brain health, and especially hormone health. We need fat. And the interesting part is the fat that we eat are not the same fat that gets accumulated in our bodies. So that's another misconception. Oh, I eat fat, so I'll become fat. No, it's not true. Overeating is what makes us fat.
Correct.
And unfortunately, that's just the truth we had to live with,
Right. Yeah, fats. Right. All right. No, excellent. Now let me move on to this. So, because like I said, I don't want to go too far over it, but we can squeeze it in. So I said to myself, what? Obviously, this sounds crazy, but the irony is it's happening out there. The best way to increase your odds of getting cancer and heart attack. Not that anybody wants this advice, but it's ironic because everybody's kind of doing it, and we're all guilty to it to some extent. But if somebody was crazy and said, oh, I want to increase my odds of cancer, increase my odds of getting a heart attack, what would I do? I would say the first thing one could do is, obviously smoke. Smoking would totally ramp up. And I would also say, give up on trying to stop. Even if you failed 1,000 times, keep on trying, never stop trying to get off cigarettes, because your body can repair itself and starts to repair itself within hours of you stopping. And that's how miraculous our bodies are. But I would say that's the number one thing. If you want to increase your odds of cancers and heart disease, smoke. So my other thing that I thought of was, if somebody wanted to increase, that's low hanging fruit, because we all kind of know that. It's like, smoking. And, but the other thing I would say is then you should also drink liquid cigarettes, drink soda. If you can drink soda even just once a week, you'll exponentially increase your odds of cancers and heart disease. And I get it. Cancer and heart disease can happen to anybody. Totally get that. We're talking about if you wanted to increase the odds of getting cancer and heart disease.
I wouldn't call the odds.
Soda. What?
Yeah, the risk. We should call it the risk of getting sick.
Right.
Instead and by the way, odds.
Yeah. Right. And as always, we're not giving medical advice here. We're just talking to friends. You always consult with your doctor. Okay. So, liquid cigarettes, soda, or juices, cigarettes. The other thing I would say is Sit.
Yeah.
Don't get up. Don't walk.
No physical activity at all.
For damn sure, don't exercise. But yeah, sit as much as you can. That will help increase the odds or chances of you getting certain cancers and heart disease. Now I don't know if you have anything, just jump in because I made a little.
Yeah, like those are like super important things. Like, and I also would say eating basically all your food intake is processed food.
Right. And by the way, we're not saying we want anybody to have cancer or heart disease. Actually, we want you to have none of it. And this is just kind of a negative motivation
of what we're saying.
Better ourselves. What's that?
Yeah. You people should do the polar opposite of what we're talking about.
Because some people get motivated to positive reinforcement. I'm saying, hey, let's try negative reinforcement. Everyone's different. Yeah. And we all can better ourselves. I'm guilty. I need to better myself too. The other thing I would say is, I think a cornerstone is mindset. If you want to increase your chances of cancer and heart disease, have a fatalistic mindset. Like, well, everyone's going to die, dude. Well, everybody gets sick, man. So forget it. Perfect. That would increase your chances of cancer and heart disease exponentially because you're essentially just throwing in the towel and there's nothing you can do. And, cancer and heart disease love that one. So you're throwing in the towel. That's a great way to increase your chances of getting cancers and heart disease is just acting like nothing I can do. My other thing would be,
can I throw in a big boulder?
Do it, baby.
Yeah. Skip on sleep and quantity and quality. It's a huge factor.
Yes.
Like say basically middle finger to your sleep. Sleep is one of the most important things for our health, and that goes for like everything, emotionally, physically, and mentally.
Sleep repairs us. It repairs our bodies every day.
Yeah, and there's so many.
You're only getting 4 hours.
Yeah, it helps us, and that's why I mean, like, hustle, but like hustle when there's time for hustle. I mean, like, use your awake time to hustle, and then actually like sleep, because you are gonna like your performance is gonna be so much better. You're able to do way more with way less time if you're actually focusing on sleep.
And don't forget, make excuses why you can't sleep. You're busy, you have a job, because nobody has those things. And
then you see the same people are sitting and watching YouTube clips of cats for an hour.
Right. So the mindset's been this one too. If you want to increase your chances of getting cancers and heart diseases, eat a lot of bread every week, a lot of pasta, a lot of chips, a lot of cakes, a lot of cookies. Make that a weekly thing that you're always, having that. I think that also will increase exponentially your chances of getting certain cancers and heart disease for sure. That one's is an ace because, we're advertised that that's what we should be eating. And the white breads and anything with, cake, cookies, pasta, breads will be a nail in the coffin for sure. You'll increase exponentially again the cancer risk, heart disease.
I got another big boulder, and that is like shitty relationships.
Toxic. 100%. That's a tough one because it's like you got a lot of things in play there. It's not easy as we all know, we're all adults. It's not easy just to snap your fingers and be out of it. It's a tough one because you got religion, or you got finances, or you got whatever. You might love the person.
Politics or vaccines. We can throw out like 100 things here that people are going to be upset and like, yeah. And not just
toxic relationships.
Toxic people too.
What's that?
A lot of toxic people.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and 100%. And it's funny though. Sometimes I say to myself, it's not that the person's toxic. It's that your interaction with that person makes it toxic. Because I've been, old enough now, I can tell you, we have friends and whatever, maybe relationships where the person's a good person, but you and that person together make toxicity where if they were with somebody else, a different friend or whatever, they're fine. So I always say it's not necessarily the person, it's a toxic relationship. Yeah. And I might be toxic to somebody, but another person may see me as gold. Well, that's how life works, right? But not staying in a toxic relationship to the best of your abilities. That will absolutely, they say, is worse than smoking cigarettes, is being in a toxic relationship or toxic job and again, I get it. It's not easy to just walk away from that, but it is easy to stop eating bread though, and not drinking soda,
or at least reduce it.
100%.
You don't have to cut it out completely, but you can cut it down with a huge percentage.
Yeah, for sure. What about this one? Beer. If you want to increase your chances of cancer, especially liver cancer and colon cancer, beer.
Yeah.
Keep
No,
drinking.
and add
And I
hot
drink beer
dogs
too
on
once in a
top,
while, but I'm not going to act like it's
on
some
top
health
of that
thing.
too, right?
What's that?
Beer and hot dogs.
Beer, hot dogs, 100%. And again, I drink beer too, but I don't drink it regularly. So, I mean, if you're drinking beer a few times a week, perfect. Your oncologist is going to love you. So,
Yeah, alcohol as a whole, and especially overconsumption of it, it's gonna like create havoc. The sad part with beer too is you have a lot of like, you have substances in it that it kind of like mimics estrogen, which is fairly bad. Both like a high concentration of estrogen is bad for both males and females, and that goes for the same thing with a super high amount of testosterone too. Because like if you see people that are using a lot of anabolic steroids and things like that, it usually is too much, and that has a negative effect. You need to have it like high, but inside like a normal kind of like level. Anyhow.
Yeah, when I say beer, I mean any kind of alcohol, honestly. But
yeah, the unfortunate part is that you're starting to see this more and more, like in our water. You see it like in a lot of our food and personal hygiene products,
the hormones
like that. Yeah, so they go in and start mimicking our hormones and make our hormone health really messed up.
Right. But I'm just saying, like the low-hanging fruit, like just get off the whiskey and get off the beer and even the wine in moderation. Wink, wink. Who does that? But right, the hormone can set it off.
I usually have like what I tell people, like have 5 servings of alcohol a week. If you wanted to have it at one night, that's when we're talking about 5 ounce or 12 ounces of beer then, or a wine glass, like a smaller wine glass.
Right.
So what I'm saying with this is that like you keep it at that, or if you want to spread it out over several days, that's fine. But trying to keep your alcohol consumption somewhat low, because it creates its problems over time.
It's never right,
poison, unfortunately.
And we all drink. I smoke cigars. I'm not sitting here saying I don't have cake and I don't eat fried stuff and I don't, have soda. But facts are facts. It doesn't matter whether I like it or not. Life is what life is. You get punished accordingly. Now, and life doesn't care if it's your birthday. You drink crap, you get punished. Period. It's not. I didn't make the rules up. That's facts.
Unfortunately, alcohol ruins our sleep too. You can say, "Oh, I sleep so good when I've been drinking." No, that's you seldom get your deep sleep, and you're kind of in and out, and so you're not getting that restful sleep that we so need for our brain and heart health and everything else.
Right.
So if you want to improve your health, definitely quit smoking ASAP and then reduce alcohol consumption.
Right.
Those things are just like, that will definitely help you and reduce the risk for getting cancer and heart disease.
But if you want to increase your cancer risk, keep smoking, keep drinking, and eat fried foods. You need to eat French fries. You need to eat fried chicken. Even a little bit every week will help you get cancer and heart disease, 100%. Your cardiologist will love you for this one. So that's another one. Fried foods. I mean, I eat fried foods once in a while too. I'm not gonna say I don't, but again, facts are facts. I mean, it's like even a little bit of fried food is bad. So like, if I don't, whatever.
It's the sad part is that there's so many like. There's always gonna be bad things in the things we eat, right? It's just trying to figure out what you should consume as little of as possible, but still, if you enjoy it, be able to eat it once in a while. But like, I mean, there was even a change when the Cookie Monster started to say that cookies are sometimes food.
Oh
yeah. I mean, again, like. Cookie Monster is the Cookie Monster. He lives out of cookies, but you're just having figuring things out that certain things your body will not like at all.
Yeah.
And certain things you can handle once in a while, and some things you can we're talking more about the nutrient-dense food that you should eat as often as possible.
Yeah, I think a friend of mine who's also a nutrition coach and trainer. He had, I think, because when people say moderation or sometimes food, what the hell does that mean? I think this would be the easiest way. You can eat the fried foods, the liquor, the cake, the cookies, the soda, one day a week. Done. Pick the day.
Yeah, I would even say it less.
What's that?
I would even say less. Like if you're really focusing on your health, like maybe not even once a month, like even
No,
less
I
than that.
agree. Right, whatever. Right, pick the one day a month and go nuts. But the rest of the days, it's vegetables, it's water, it's lean, healthy meats, it's fruits. But yeah, so because when people say moderation or once in a while food, what the hell does that mean? Because so my thing is like, because this guy said, a very healthy guy, and he said, look, Saturday's my day. I eat and drink what the hell I want. The other 6 days a week, I'm Rocky Balboa. I'm like, now I could wrap my mind around that, or whatever it is. Every other week, it's one, or whatever you said, once a month, whatever. But because when people say once in a while, or sometimes, like, what the hell does that mean? But I think once a week, or once a month, or once every other week, you go crazy. You do you want to eat donuts and cake and cookies and whatever. But anyways, before we wrap up, anything you want to add, Magnus?
Oh, so one thing, since it's the 29th of December today,
it is?
That like it means a huge thing. I don't know if you guys are following it, like if you have Disney Plus or something like that. But
you say Disney? You say Disney?
This guy's
let me see. No,
this guy's show is coming out today. I've been waiting for a year for this, so I'm pretty stoked about that. The book of Boba Fett.
You're that guy? All right, I forgot about that. You're
so I even have I've seen. Can I? Yeah, here we go. There we go. I even have that for Boba Fett, the show. So that's another thing that I'm really excited about. It has nothing to do with nutrition or health or anything like that.
So your wife is going to lose you for the next 3-4 days. You're going to binge watch. Like, where's my husband? Where'd he go?
They release it like one episode a week, but it's fine. I mean, I'm not like a severe binger anyway. I'm just excited to see it. So
yeah, all right. I mean, you know what? I mean, look, I'm not gonna say I'm a fan. I'm not like you. I'm not a fanboy. However, I do like Star Wars, and I kind of like Star Trek too. Like, I've gone to the movies. I'm definitely. Yeah. I'm more, not to get into this because I know we got to go, but I'm more into like anything commando stuff, like Green Beret, Navy SEAL stuff, which I'm the furthest thing from that. I'm the biggest chicken on earth, but I'm like, man, I love those movies. Like, and when I get out of those movie theaters and I watch these commando movies, I feel so, wimpy. I'm like, damn, what am I doing with my life? These dudes are jumping out of planes, killing bad guys and climbing mountains. And I'm sitting here DJing. Anyways, but
regarding that though, maybe that would be a super interesting guest to have on too, like a former someone like Special Forces or something.
Yeah, I could find those guys. I have friends of mine that have done that.
We're in San Diego. That's basically Navy SEAL
territory.
So,
yeah.
No, but
I have a bunch of friends that are not SEAL. Maybe but I do have friends that are ex-Marines, ex-Navy, ex-Air Force. For sure. Yeah, Rangers. That'd be cool. Yeah, to get one of them on and talk about their nutrition and how they live and
and it's also like mindset, like how
mind health.
It's so much about like having an edge. It's so much about like the mental aspect of that game. And I think that's basically what they train them in all those like if we're looking at Special Forces school is so much about the mind. And I know I went to Ranger school in Sweden, so it's a little bit different. But
so Ranger's a Ranger.
It's still like that's one of the things that I think that I learned the most about. Like, I learned about myself. Like, I can push through a lot of limits and be able to achieve things that I didn't think that I was going to be able to do. And I think like it's different. Like we didn't do anything like I was never in live battle or anything like that, right. But that's a whole nother ball game, like talking about
my father was
situation.
That's funny. Yeah, no, my father was a combat veteran in the Vietnam War. He did reconnaissance via the Air Force. So he was in the in the mix over there. But he's, thank God he's alive and whatnot. But
shit.
Oh, dude, yeah. I mean,
I could never imagine like being in live combat. Like,
listen,
I think
my old man. I mean, I'm not going to say he was, doing hand-to-hand combat, but just I've talked to him about it a little bit. Like a lot of vets, they don't want to talk about it, and I totally get that. But as I get older, I have more of appreciation for the men and women who put it on the line because yeah, that's a whole nother show. We should probably get some people on, but yeah, I have some friends of mine. You know, I have a friend of mine. He's a doctor, but I love this guy. So he has like the trifecta. He's a doctor, but he's also a colonel in the army, and he was a former like stock trader or something. Like real, like damn son,
Oh,
okay.
shit.
Like over, there's only one guy more impressive than this guy, and I so, but I don't know if you saw this. There's a Korean, and both of these guys are Korean, but there's a Korean astronaut, and he'll be the first Korean American to go into space. But before he was an astronaut, he was a medical doctor out of Harvard, and before he was a medical doctor, he was a Navy SEAL. I'm like, keep this guy away from me at a bar because all the women are going to go to him. And like, you don't want, what do you do? I was a SEAL, and then I was a doctor. Now I'm an astronaut. It's like, dude, what the hell? Overachiever. Like, keep him away from me, man. Like, I DJ. That's about it. Anyways, have you heard of this guy?
Yes, I have. And
you would never suspect, if you saw this guy, he looks like Joe Schmo. Like, meanwhile, forget it. Like, I'm like, wow.
But that's the interesting part. A lot of it, like, we're talking about those like high achievers and like being in crazy situations. They're the coolest planet on the earth, and you could never imagine. I have one of my coaching friends. He's right now he's doing 2 PhD programs. He's an ex-Marine and things like that. Coolest freaking guy on earth, and he's so funny and laid back.
You would never think, right? Yeah.
I could, like, when I didn't even know that he was ex-military, but when I'm like, yeah, I can see a little bit of that bleeding through. But I mean, he's such a fun character. He's a great guy.
And we got to get some of these men and women on to talk about their military experience and also their wellness. And I'll
talking about like a mental like coming out of it, and how I think it has a lot of similarities when, like, if you've been a pro athlete, it's so ingrained in your DNA that is your personality. You lose a big part of who you are.
Yeah, it's got to be tough. Anybody, right? You do something for so many years and then you stop. It's 100%.
Yeah.
But
guys, one thing that I want to add: Happy New Year's, and everybody, like, stay safe. Don't drink too much, and especially
don't drink and drive. Get an Uber, you cheap F.
Yeah, and
Uber,
don't mix
Lyft.
Don't mix alcohol and fireworks.
Wow,
that's yes. I really don't want anybody to get hurt over the New Year's weekend. So like think about that. Be smart. It's the same thing. Designated driver and designated firework person.
Especially with Uber, there's no reason why.
Yeah.
Come on, man. But yeah. But try not to drink too much, anyways. But yeah, Happy New Year, everybody. Happy, healthy, and be grateful for what we have. There's a lot that we have that even I forget. And I'm like, oh yeah, I have a lot actually. Thanks.
We're going into 2022. Let's focus on our health. Let's make it better. Let's everybody evolve and get better as humans and as friends.
I like the ring of that.
Family members and whatever we're talking about.
Yeah, don't forget, subscribe, hit the notification, hit the like,
yes.
hit the notification, hit this, hit that. Tell your mom, sister, your mother, your brother, your Uber driver. Tell them, let's go here.
Spread the word. Like, spread the word to other people. Like, we're just trying to help people.
Yeah, thanks. And so Magnus, Happy New Year to you and yours, and you watching, Happy New Year to you. I'm talking to you, and that's it. So yeah, I'm gonna sign us out here. Countdown 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year, everyone.